RuneScape and old school RuneScape are two sides to the same coin, some people say. Though in reality, it's more of a diverging timeline sort of situation where the games split at a single point in time and are now two different realities. RuneScape kept evolving, and its lore, world, and mechanics have continued advancing at a fast pace. Old school RuneScape, however, stayed true to the nostalgic charm of the game, where its gameplay has remained nearly the same since its divergence, and the world has evolved down a different path. Whether you find one version of the game better than the other is an opinion, and no side is more correct than the other. As someone who's been playing since RuneScape Classic, I personally think both versions of the game are just, well, RuneScape. I think both games are good games and can coexist, and the communities from both should do what they can to help both games flourish. There is no reason for discourse between the two games, and I actively encourage players to play both games. And that is what I'm going to start doing. Though old school RuneScape has always appealed to me as a game, I never wanted to restart my progress when the game split. But with friends in both of these games' timelines, it's time for me to try going from RuneScape to RuneScape, experiencing the alternate timeline. Hello again everyone, Kamori here, and welcome back to RuneScape, this time for episode 29. Getting up there in episodes, that is great. Here are my stats and levels, as usual, starting off at 1268 total level. Going to be working on a little bit more combat this time. I do want to make my way up to 65s for the attack and strength, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to get some Slayer in as usual, been missing it a little bit. And at least we get something other than a Greater Demon's task. Kalphite's down in the Kalphite lair. I'm just going to speed through this task and do the Kalphite workers. I know I should be doing some of the higher level ones because they do have the increased chance of the Brimstone keys, but level 65 strength coming in. Going to go ahead and switch right to attack just to get the 130 stat total for the Warriors Guild, but there we go. 37 tasks complete. 18 points, no Brimstone key as usual. Gonna go ahead and kill another one here just to send a message, you know? Gonna go grab another task. Hopefully it's better than Kalphite's, of course. I don't quite understand. Like, the waiting for her Greater Demon's task isn't extremely high. It's like a 7 or an 8 or something like that, where she has tasks that are like 10s and 12s. So I don't understand why I've been getting Greater Demons legitimately like 70% of my tasks. 61 attack coming in along with 77 combat. And of course we get a random event in the middle of a fight. Just gonna have to sit there and wait. Level 56 Slayer coming in before I am interrupted by Dr. Jekyll. I do not have any herbs on me. Not really a reason to worry about that too much as a main account. Quite a lot of ensouled heads this task though. I still haven't used any of the ensouled heads, and I don't know if I can without a few quests or anything like that. But I should have a couple levels worth of prayer EXP saved up in the bank. Level 62 attack coming in with the special attacks. Specking out another one towards the end of the task here. Burying all of the ashes as well. 38 tasks complete, another 18 points, which is quite nice. I do have 422 points. Outside of getting the unlock for the Slayer Helm, I don't really know too much else what I should be unlocking with Slayer points. I have Bigger and Badder unlocked already. If you guys have any ideas of what the better order for spending points is, I might buy one Slayer ring so I can enchant the Salve Amulet, but there's my first Fire Giant kill. I really like Fire Giants. They're not really different than Greater Demons as far as the task itself goes, but something about the ability of getting the Rune Scimitar drop just kind of makes it exciting, even if they're not a very great task on their own. And this is also my first time down in the Stronghold Slayer Cave, so that was kind of exciting. Level 63 attack coming in here. Stocking up on these fire runes that they drop is quite nice as well, though they're very cheap, so it's not like buying them is too big of an issue, but There's also like a huge size difference in these fire giants. Like, look at the one in the background. Why is it so tiny compared to the one I'm fighting? It's like the one I'm fighting is like lifted up off the ground or something like that. I don't know what that visual issue is, unless there really is just that big of a difference. But there we go. We do get my very first, I believe it's my first Brimstone key. Funnily enough, I get it from fire giants, which are some of the lowest level enemies that I've fought from Konar, outside of, I guess, the Calphite workers that I just did. 57 Slayer coming in, 1275 total level as well. Pretty easy task, though. I did just pray, and then anytime I'd run out of prayer, I'd just go back to the monastery and then come back through the spirit trees. So it did take a little long, but 39 tasks. There we go. One more for the big 40 and the point boost. And of course, we get greater demons again, this time on the Isle of Lost Souls. Hadn't ever been here or into this dungeon before. This place sucked. Getting here was kind of a long walk, even with the fairy rings, and then this tiny corner with lesser demons and greater demons. Why is there so many packed in here? I don't know. Level 50 prayer coming in, though. That is quite nice. I am pretty tempted to either like buy bones or something like that again and just jump up to at least level 60, maybe even all the way to 70 for piety, but we'll figure it out at some point. I do kind of want to get all the unsold heads used as well. 65 attack sliding in and 79 combat. There we are, though. We are at 65 attack and strength. That is the requirement that we would need for the Warriors Guild, so we can go for the Dragon Defender grind. Not going to do that right away, though. My friend is also above the 130 requirement, so I'll probably wait until I can do it with them. There is a lesser demon attacking me, and I kill it. I get the Rune Medhelm drop. The most valuable drop on this task came from the lesser demon not on the task. I did switch over to range, though, because I have the 130 requirement. Not really a purpose in forcing more attack or strength EXP now. And then I'll probably train defense when I'm doing the defender grind. But yeah, this again, the space down here, there wasn't really like a very good safe spot, at least until I run out of aggression timer after the 10 minutes. But because I banked so often just using prayer and recharging prayer, I didn't really get it too much. But there we go, 56 range. That is unfortunately the only level I get here. It is still really fun using the imbued short bow, though. It's a new weapon, and so it feels fun to use. It's all sparkly and it looks cool. But there we go, 40 tasks complete, the nice 90 point boost up to 530. I can unlock a lot of different stuff. So again, if you have good ideas of like task unlocks, I'm thinking like lizard men or something. Is that like a good thing to unlock? I don't know. Combat completed for now, though. We're going to go ahead and get our quest on for this episode. We're going to do the Darkness of Hollow Vale. Most people kind of hate this quest. It's a lot of monotonous walking back and forth, very click intensive. Basically, we need to go make contact with the Mire Key over in Mire Ditch. We got to come down, we build a boat, we fix the ramp, because for some reason the Firewatch have a huge wall around their city, except for right where it meets the water, and then they just have a couple of Firewatch flying around, but they don't really seem to care that someone's gonna be rowing a boat around the wall. Nice little animation, though. Definitely how this actually works. Through the wood, down underwater. Oh, never mind. Looks like it flooded for a second there, but I must have been imagining things. Go ahead and board the boat, and we get the wonderful sailing animation. You know, the skill's in the game now, so it's very, very fun. I love this little, like, map in it. But yeah, so you just push your boat over, and there's Firewatch, like, flying around over here. They don't seem to care. The last shanty, we get Lament of Mire Ditch and Night of the Vampire, so of course I turn that music up just to enjoy it. I do have it muted in the recordings, though, but I do blast that music. I crank it up a little louder. Pretty good music. Level 125, Firewatch flying around. A little bit scary, but, you know, they don't attack you at all, I believe, unless you attack them. So it's not like you have to really bring too much food or anything like that for this quest. There's only one part in the quest where you take any amount of actual damage that you might have to tank, but you can just pray melee for it. First thing we do, though, is we talk to a citizen. After we do this very long animation of climbing over the rock wall. I don't know why that takes so long, but we talked to a Meyerditch citizen. We're basically just trying to ask around to get information on where the Meyer key could potentially be. We were told to just ask some of the locals and see if we can get any information from them. First guy's like, I can't really tell you much about them. Like, we're not allowed to talk about them. Like, and I'm like, is there anyone that we can speak to that might help? And he's like, yeah, go speak to Old Man Ral. He's just a couple buildings north. He might be able to help you. So you riz up Old Man Ral. You tell him people are calling him the Sage of the Sanguine SD and everything like that. And he's like, oh, that sounds actually pretty cool. Okay, I guess I can tell you a little bit of information. Basically tells you they're up in a different sector, but it's a really complicated maze to get there. You have to follow the symbols on the wall. And he's like, I'm gonna get out of here. And now here's the really fun part, I say in quotation marks, of this quest. You have to navigate Meyerditch, so I'm gonna speed it up here. The Quest Helper plugin is wonderful for this. Trying to do this blind, there are symbols painted on the walls next to like doors or ladders and things like that that are supposed to like guide you in the direction you're going. It's the sickle painting next to some walls and everything like that. I remember doing this quest, I mean, decades ago at this point, and doing it without guides, and it takes a long time. And it's one of these places where no one really like remembered the exact path. And so even if you had friends who had done this quest before, none of them wanted to come back and show you how to do it. None of them like remembered. You couldn't like ask someone like, hey, I'm stuck at this ladder next to the closed line that I'm supposed to cross for. No one's like, oh yeah, you go down the ladder, you go up 3 buildings. Like no one had any idea. Like you had to just figure it out. Thankfully there were like guides and stuff online, I'm sure, that people used originally, but I don't know if they were as good as the wiki is nowadays. Back when people used like RuneHQ and stuff like that. But make your way all the way into the hideout, down underneath finally. Thankfully, that is the only time you actually have to take that full path, because there are shorter ways of getting back to the hideout later on. Run all the way to the back. This almost looks like the ham store room for a second when you come down here. Speak to Vertida, and he's just like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm a friend. He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I know Valif. And he's like, okay, I'll believe you. Kind of just drop in one name and everyone seems to believe you in here. Especially if they're supposed to be like top secret organization rebellion. Like, you don't think they would trust you this easily, but you basically say you're here to make contact. You talk to him and he's like, yeah, I'll give you a note letting you know that like we're still alive and we need help. You head back to Valif and you're like, yep, I spoke with him. He's got a note for you. Give him the note, and he's like, okay, cool, they're struggling, it sucks, we'll need to get help. Drizel up at Paterdomus was having some issues. Go speak with him for me, and then try to go speak with the king and see if the king can help us. Like, this is an issue that's kind of getting out of hand, we need help. Teleport back up to Paterdomus, speak with Drizel, and he's like, yeah, like, there's some stuff that's happening on the west side of the River Salve, which is the river with, you know, the holy water that is blessed by Saradomin and that keeps the vampires out of the rest of Mistalin. You come outside and check a bush. There's someone unconscious in the bush. And now this incredible cutscene plays out. The like effect on the screen. So yeah, apparently you get knocked unconscious by 2 werewolves smuggling a body back into Mauritania to increase their blood tithe. They're stretching further and further west to find more blood. You go back to Drizel, you tell him what's going on. He's like, oh my god, this is terrible. Like, we need to defend ourselves. We need help. Like, go speak to the king. See if he can help us. And he hooks me up with some runes to teleport to Varrock. Like, what a homie. Quests really need to do this more often. If they just want you to go somewhere and talk to people, like, make teleporting to the locations convenient. Gives you the runes, assuming you have the level. You can teleport straight to Varrock. You come speak to the king. You basically tell the king, and he's like, yeah, like, I'm definitely ready to go to war. Like, I'm over Draken and all of it. And then his advisor's like, no, we can't. The Cathixian edicts. This will cause a political war, blah, blah, blah. Shot down, not able to do anything. The king, no help as usual. Teleports you back to Paterdomus, which kind of pointless because you just go back down to Bird to Rot. Anyways, You tell Valif, and he's like, yeah, that kind of sounds like bullshit, if you ask me. It sounds like political nonsense, you know? Neither side is able to do anything. Too realistic. He's like, alright, go back to the Mire Ditch, go tell the Mire that we can't really do much to help. There might be a small militia coming, but it might take some time. You come back to Mire Ditch a second time, and now you can do a shortcut to get back. You basically talk to one of the Firewatch, and you tell them to take you to the mines. So they have options of they can take a bite, and it takes like 10 HP from you or something like that, or you can be teleported to the mines. I don't know if you can actually do the distract and sneak away option. I actually don't remember if that actually works. I'm sure it does, and you just keep going from where you are. But it's actually way faster to get teleported to the mines. You come down here, and then you mine 15 day-old ore, and you use the ore on the cart, you fill it up, and then you can talk to one of the juvenile vampires down here, and they basically just let you go. It's way faster than navigating the whole maze. It takes like 30 seconds to mine 15, like they mine super quickly. You can mine 3 from each location, and use 5 locations, you're good. And then you come out of this hole here, and then you run from here. Just straight south, basically. There's just a couple doors you gotta go through, up a ladder, jump, down a ladder, and then you're here. Very fast. It's actually faster than the shortcuts that you can unlock through this quest. Speak to Cephalatus again, basically let him know there's no help. There's Gathixian edicts and the gods, and he's like, yeah, that sounds like some bullshit. And I'm just like, God, y'all too real. Everything's too political around here. Basically, yep, there's not much we can do here. You should go tell our leader about this. He's trying to scout out Castle Draken. You're going to have to go up the walls and go meet him. And he leads you basically all the way there, back to the beginning, which is nice. And then from here, you have to run up the western wall, up and down ladders and stuff, and then make a fool of yourself clicking the same one to unlock the next wall, but not really paying attention because you're looking at a second monitor and realized you've clicked it like 30 times. And then you continue along. Thankfully, you can't really get lost here. It's a linear path this way. None of the Firewatch dealt with me at all, or interacted with me. You can get stopped by the Firewatch during this quest when you're running through the maze, but you can't just log out when they start talking to you, and you can avoid the little, like, mini interaction with them. Make your way up to Saphalon, up on the wall. He's basically saying he's going to draw, you know, a map of the castle and the surrounding areas. But now that you've told him all this information, he's like, hey, you can pick up where I left off. I haven't started, but I've figured out their, like, scouting, their guard routes. So you start on the north side and work your way back around. You go to the north side, you draw it. You go to the west side, you draw it, and a cutscene starts up. We get to see Vanstrom Klaus, the guy from the first In Search of the Myarchy quest that tricked you, the guy that was in the pub in Canifis. Milady. You get to see Vanescula Draken. She's one of the big bads. Rannis Draken. I actually don't know if I know that name, to be honest. I don't know if he's like a butler or something like that. I do not remember that name very much. Maybe he's an OSRS guy that I'm unaware of. Or it's just been 15 years since I've done these quests and I don't remember it. He keeps saying Milady, and I keep thinking of him tipping a fedora and how funny that would be. But they both fly off. All three of them fly off in the direction of where I'm standing up on this wall. Like, I'm just standing right here in full vision of them. There's no way they don't see me. You go to the third spot, and this is where you turn on Protect from Prayer, or Protect from Melee Prayer, because Vanstrom Klaus is like, yeah, I definitely did see you up on that short little wall. Like, what the heck are you thinking? You were stealth up there, you know? And then he attacks you. He hits you pretty hard. You have to just stand here and tank like 4 or 5 hits. So if you don't have Protect from Melee, you gotta have some pretty high armor and some food. You can die during this, which is a little unfortunate, but you can't hurt him at all, so you do just stand here and tank it for a little bit. And just like many a great game cutscenes, he just knocks you out. And before he can do any devilish duties, a girl named Sarius Guile, not too sure how you're going to pronounce that last name, or even that first name, but she shows up. She's like the handmaiden of Venescula Draken, saying Venescula has business with Saphalon and wants you to reach out to him for you, or for her, and then she gives you a hint on where to get clues on where to go next. You use a knife on the fireplace and you get a plaque with another hint on it. The hint leads you to another room where there's a painting of a key. You use a knife on the painting and there's actually a key behind it. And this is the key that you need to get into the laboratory later on. So you bring that back to the base. You bring it all back to Saphalon. You're like, yeah, dude, I got attacked by one of the big guys, and I barely survived, but I got help from a girl. And he's like, all right, well, go figure out what's going on. Like, there's some laboratory somewhere. If you could go find it, you use the key that you get on this vampire statue, and it unlocks a secret door down into the Meyerditch laboratory. If you don't have telekinetic runes on you, you can search a bookcase or something down here and get some runes, but if you bring them, use telekinetic grab on the book. Hey Malchemy, Volume 1. You bring this back to Saphalon again, and he's like, this is some pretty good research. Like, someone was looking into the weakness of the vampires. Not sure who this was, but this is like pretty big information. Like, you've done a lot for us. Like, thank you very much. Please go back to Valif and Bergerat and let him know everything that's going on. Let him know that, you know, we're going to be looking into this. Here's a note to bring back to Valif. And that's basically the very end of the quest. You come back down to Bergerat. You speak to Valif once again. You let him know that he has a message from Saphalon. You inform him about everything you did over there. Stuff's not looking good, but plans are being set in motion. We're learning about the weaknesses of the vampires slowly as he decrypts the book, or deciphers it. But there we go, the Darkness of Hollow Vale quest complete. 2 quest points, you get 7,000 agility, EXP, 6,000 thieving, 2,000 construction, and a Tome of Experience. The Tome of Experience can be used 3 times, 47 thieving sneaking in. It can be used 3 times to give any skill over 30, 2,000 EXP, and you can use it on the same skill 3 times. But I've been kind of debating on whether I want to keep putting stuff into construction or not. I know it is just a money sink. I can do mahogany homes and stuff to level it slightly cheaper as well, but I think I'm going to keep doing construction until I get to level 50, and then I might just start putting everything into Herbalore again. Even though they're both expensive to train skills, construction's fast, so that might be a smarter choice. But that is going to be where I go ahead and call it an episode for today. Did get one kind of a long quest in. I cut a lot of it out, a lot of running back and forth and stuff like that. But here are my levels. We're up to 1280. And most importantly, we are at the 130 for the Warriors Guild. So hopefully within the next episode or 2, I can go in there and get the Dragon Defender. That would be a huge upgrade to the account. And it's just a fun grind to begin with. I've always enjoyed it. We'll probably get up to at least 60 defense during that grind as well. And then we'll slowly start working up towards base 50s. Who knows? We'll have to find out some more stuff to do. My friend hasn't been playing a lot, but I'm still really enjoying it. Thank you guys all very much for watching. Hope you're enjoying it as well. And hope to see you all back in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.